Hey guys, it's the DevGabe here, and let's just look at these 3 pathfinding zombies. And I called the video "Connect is bad: connect," and that's what everyone uses. So what the heck are you supposed to use? Well, I'll show you. Let's just take a look at the CPU here, and the CPU jumps at 100, 100, 200. Not bad, not bad. It's not too laggy. And that's pretty good. So let's just kill these guys. But the frames are pretty bad, I killed them. Let's go to the next one. And look at how my CPU drops 60, 50. So it always causes a lag spike. I don't know why. Let's go to the other ones. So that's 2 other modules. And now we have all 3 of them shooting at me and following me. And it's pretty laggy. That's the lag spike, the initial lag spike, and the CPU jumps to 300. And I'm not gonna really show you that script because it's probably really pretty long. But that was a lot of CPU. And let's just take a look at the pathfinding zombie, and we could just see that at the bottom of this script is just a simple. Oh, there's 2 while loops. There's the second while loop is right here for the pathfinding, and the first while loop is for the search and attack. Now I just got into Roam. Let's take a look at the CPU now. And the CPU for the zombies was like 100, 120, 160, stuff like that. Now look at the CPU. CPU is like 50, 60, and I have all these same robots. This is crazy. Oh, a little jump there, but that's fine. You're gonna have little jumps in CPUs once in a while. And these guys are axe swinging and all that. They can chase me, and the CPU is still pretty low. This is crazy. How did you do this? Well, I will show you guys, and let's just start killing these guys. Get them away from me. And this is the Roblox gun kit. I modified it a little bit, so I made it less laggy for me, and I might give it away pretty soon. Yeah, I also made the railgun shoot 3 times, and it also has scope, so it's pretty nice. But Roblox did give it away for free, so you guys could get it from Roblox, and I'll give away my version for free because I did combine the modules together to reduce lag and deleted a lot of the functions they didn't use. So yeah, I think that's enough. I could clean up. Right to this point, it's gonna teleport right now. Any second. There you go. I'm teleported into the map. The skybox changed, so the sky's yellow. And now they're attacking me. So let's look at the script analysis or script activity. And you can see that the pathfinding skeleton has about 25 activity and 11 rate. The control robot script is the 30 NPCs, and it has 10 activity and 42 rate. Remember, this is 30 robots. And it's still having less lag than the parent skeleton and zombie. And then the pathfinding zombie has about 14 activity and 8 rate. So the zombie tends to have a little less than the skeleton because the skeleton shoots, but it's mostly identical. And the activity is a little higher than the control robot script. So you're probably wondering, how did I make 30 robots have such a low activity and have a pretty low rate compared to the skeletons and the zombie? Let's take a look at the connection pool module. And the connection pool module has this one global connection pool, and this basically is one while loop. And this is one while loop for your entire game. That's the crazy part about it. While those pathfinding zombie scripts were individual while loops, this module basically combines every while loop into a center while loop. And it uses heartbeats. Right here it says delta time run service heartbeat, and heartbeat is basically it runs after every physics frame, so it runs every 1 frame. And that's better than task.wait, but task.wait is pretty good too. I recommend you use task.wait when you can, and not use heartbeat. Heartbeat's only for specific code like this one. Right here is the function that calls it. And I got the return connection pool manager, which is just returning this function right here. The main function that calls it and then adds it into the while loop. And then let's look at the control robot script. This is basically what controlled all 50 of the robots. And right at the bottom of the script, it's a pretty long script. 1,200 lines of code. Jeez. Gabe, how did you... I don't even want to talk about you, Gabe. All right, right here is, the processing speed. Right now it's set to like 0.1 seconds. And the connection pool is connected, which is required from the module. And it looks pretty cool. And the one thing about this script you should notice is that compared to the zombie script, this script has no weights inside of it. Because if there was a task.waits, what it would do is basically cut off the connection pool and make the connection pool yield. So if you are going to use this connection pool module, you cannot use weights. And that's the benefit of it. If you do not use any weights, you can get to that CPU like I did right here. It's pretty crazy to get 80 CPU, 100 CPU with that 50 robots when I was struggling with just 3 zombies is absolutely insane. And I was having frame rate drops until, I got teleported to the robots. And I used the clocking to replace the task.waits. Right here, you can see health now is less than humanoid.max health. That means I took damage because the health now is a local variable of the humanoid's current health. And then right here, you might be thinking, what is this? Current clock minus the attribute of last health regen. Well, I set last health regen to 0 right here because it's going to run on 1 time. And if we ran the game, if you looked right here in the chat, if you notice in the beginning, I have these numbers because right here it says print health now. So it's actually recording my health, showing that it's not running 100 times because it would print out 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, but it only printed out 31 time, which shows that it will only print out when the health is actually given. And then, so the current clock is a timer that counts up, and it is subtracted by the current time, which is 0 in the beginning, and then it's greater than or equal to the health regen speed. And you can see that that's a local variable. And then we set the current last health regen to the current time, so it runs again. This is basically a timer. And this number right here, health regen speed, is the timer for it to pass through this area right here and print the health now. So it doesn't overrun over the time set. So it doesn't regen instantly because it would regen every task.wait without that clock system. So right here is the speed, health regen amount, or no, health regen speed. The amount is the HP given. So every 1 second, there would be 1 HP. And we'll look into the example script. And this is how I did the matchmaking. And later on, we'll talk about how I did the robots, but this is to explain how I did it in general. And right here, it says connections are created for each individual player. If they were 20 players, then there would be 20 character added asynchronous connections. So asynchronous connections is separated by each different connected spawn. It's like a spawn. And every connection that you create will run over another connection. So it's just like 2 connections can be in 1 connection, but it won't show you because it's asynchronous. Every time that you use the :connect right here, :connect, it's going to create a new function for every, let's say it's on player added, it's going to create a new function every time the player is passed by. And right here it says, and that's just for 1 connection with character added. So I'm talking about player added, but character added is even worse because every time the character respawns, the function is going to run. And there's going to be, let's say there's 20 players, there's going to be 20 character added connections. That's a crazy amount of connections. Imagine HealthChanged connection running when you have 20 players fighting. HealthChanged runs when the health is changed, not even when the character is added. So you have 20 different connections of the health being changed by these characters. And that's crazy. Imagine you had 80 players and you had a HealthChanged connection. That's insane. That's big performance drop. Oof. We don't talk about that. Oof. All right, they say, what's the solution? Well, introducing connection pooling. It is basically one synchronized while loop that destroys the need for connect. Connect. This is at a constant rate and has less throttling of performance. No machine works better unless if it's a constant rate. Throttling is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, etc. So it's just going up, down repeatedly. And that's throttling. That's basically what a connect does, because it only runs as soon as a connection is something is connected to it. And that's constantly going to throttle every time that there's a connection entering. And you might think, oh, it's not a big deal, but 20, 30 players, you got 30 functions that are connected inside of these parentheses. And of course, the function would be that, and an end on the end of it. Like that. Like that. And then this is also similar to combining scripts together. So this idea that I called connection pooling is the same as combining your scripts into one. Rather than having 20 different scripts, you have one. What I see a lot of early developers make is that they make 100 scripts just to have a kill brick. So let's say you have a kill brick, you have a script in each kill brick. That's really bad because you're making so much different synchronizations in each script. Every new script is another synchronization. And it's basically asynchronized. So you have 100 death bricks, you have 100 different asynchronized connection. So better just to have it all in one. Take advantage of putting no scripts and starter character scripts. So right here, you have the starter character scripts. And I already put the health and the animate. These are by default. And so it only creates one script for each player. And this is the problem. If you put something in starter character scripts, these will duplicate to every character, which is unnecessary. You don't need to put a health script inside of the starter character script. And I actually personally put a health script in here just to show you guys that I emptied it. Because if I did not put a health script and it has to be named health, it wouldn't replace the default health script that's supplied to the character. And you can look at that if you ran the game. You would look into your character. Let's say my character is don't use Rio 405. You would see that they have an animate script and a health script. So I rewrote the health script and I made it empty. So it doesn't have any issues for me. Animate is pretty bad as well. You have a lot of connections in there. I redid the animate script, and I could put that in the description as well, because this animate script is worse, which is the default, which is like 1,000 lines of code, which is crazy. 800 lines of code, that's not good. And I basically have the same animations with a line of code that's only, 117. And this goes into each individual player. You could also put the animate script in the starter player script and just call this animate and just reduce the lines. And how do you do that? Well, if you look in starter player scripts, I don't have anything in there, but you would just create a local script and then do character added by the player. Local player equals game.players.local player. And then you do player.character added and then connect. But I talked about the pooling, but it's on the local side, so it's not a big deal. Local side is not really the problem. Server side is where the scripts should run on connect pool. But if you did run a connection pool on the client side, it would be even better. But no need to worry, because local side or the client side, these blue scripts are not a big deal compared to the server side. So let's look at the example further. So I showed you that I teleported to that red brick, and then the sky turned yellow, and it was called the map, the status was different, of course, but you didn't see that. But the sky basically turned yellow, and I'll show you guys how I did that right here. It says that there's a player removing, and you would just do save data. So I did use a connection here, and that's just to say that you can't have delays. So you have to use player removing connection because you can't have a delay when you're trying to save data. What if the game is crashing? You need to make sure that there's not going to be any errors or any delays in the connect. So you're going to have to use player removing connect just to make sure that there's no issues with saving players' data. Just use it for player removing, and that's pretty much it. But you could use player added. Here are other functions that I used. Right down here. And this is what I called connection pooling, which is the same thing as a while loop pool of connections. And I have the player added in here. I have the character added. I have the health regen. I have the death. I have the matchmaking. And I have it all in here without using any :connect. So I put local variables. You can see that I loop through all the players multiple times. And you might be saying, oh, isn't that bad? But it's worse to have, let's say you had 30 players, you're going to have player added with 30 different connections. So that's even worse. And this is one while loop at a constant rate. Like we talked about, throttling is a big deal. And throttling is not a good thing. So you got one while loop, and that's going to run at a constant pace with all these connections. And that's a good thing. And this script should not be slowed down. If we look at the bottom of the script, you'll see that there's a task.wait. I even put the matchmaking, and I was able to teleport. This is about 216 lines of code, and I was able to do that. This will be in the description. I'll make a model for it after the video. And you can see that how I did it was that I used the attribute to make sure that it only runs one time. And if we ran the game, you could see that I would have a leader stats under my players in the players folder if you want to check that out. So the control robot script, I'm just going to break it down pretty easily. It's just one while loop. And I combined in this one while loop right here, update all robot status. This will be in the description as well. It has the attack in there. It has the animations. It has the sound. It has the pathfinding. And it has the death. And it has it all without using the :connect. Like we talked about, :connect is bad. Also, one more thing. Don't use the destroy. Right here on the control robot script, don't use destroy and don't use ragdolls. That was one of the key things that helped me not cause major physics lag, was just removing the ragdolls and just never using the destroy. Instead of using destroy, I made the weapons disappear, just hide them. But they were still on the character and they never were destroyed to begin with. When the robots died, I basically made it look like they died, but I just teleported them all the way back, gave them back their health, at the spawn points. And the spawn points are going to be at these red dots. And yeah, red dots like these. The blue points are where they actually travel in the map. I made a module that replaces the attribute system because attributes make physical properties into the workspace. So it's actually a little worse than using dictionaries. So if you are interested to not use attributes, do check out that video, instance key module. And that will replace every attribute that you have in your game. And it's good for dictionaries, which is, this right here. This is a dictionary, the squiggly lines. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Anyways, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. The connection pool module script will be in the description. Peace out.